guys, it's Stella for life. This actually might be the first time you guys see this wig brushed out. I don't know if I've made a video with this wig after I'd brushed it out. But this is my Bloom wig. I wore a blue top to kind of represent. I still have makeup on from work, so I decided to just go ahead and do a review video. I am, because I'm an original Winx Club fan, I am watching Faded, and I am going to be doing a review video for every episode on my thoughts. I know it's really popular to be bashing it a lot, and I know a lot of unpopular opinions, or not unpopular, but like a lot of people don't like it. I am going to do my best to go into it with an open mind, because I believe, as a writer's standpoint of view, I do believe, yes, the original fans are going to want it to be exactly the same, and be as close to the original as possible. But as something that they're trying to make income from, and from older audience, they need more. It is a children's show trying to be an older show, so for an older audience, so they are trying to use other elements to get more people in. I'm an original fan. That does not mean I have to be pissed off about everything they've changed. So I have watched the first episode at this point. And I'm going on to the second one now, but I'm going to do a review for every episode. I know there are a lot of other reviews out there. I only watched enough to not spoil. I did not watch fully into most of them, because I didn't want spoilers. I actually do want to see this unfold for myself. Spoiler warning, this obviously I'm reviewing every episode, so I will have spoilers in this. So go watch the episode and then come back to me if you want to kind of see what I'm talking about. I wanted to do my own review series because I feel like I can at least see it from both points of view, from the original fans who are very upset with it point of view, and also from, try to see it from the new writers' points of views. They're trying to cash in on something that's been around for a long time, and that has been dear to many people's hearts, but they did do a lot of changes, like a lot. So, but I'm going to try to come into this without such a negative perspective. That's my hope. That is what I'm going to try to do. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to point out any, that I'm not going to point out the differences, and that I'm not going to point out the bad, things that I don't approve of and things. I'm not saying I'm not going to do that. I am going to do that. But I'm going to try to make sure this is more neutral. I'm going to try to be from both sides of the story, kind of see from both sides, where they've done some good things, because I have even seen some in the first episode, and where they've done some things I'm like, no. So I'm going to be doing comparisons, differences, my personal opinions on negative aspects of changes, and positive aspects of changes that they've made, in comparison to the original, and also just in general, looking at it as a show that I like, not knowing the characters. Like, when you're going into something fresh and you don't know who these characters are, you don't know who, like the original series, you're just watching this for the first time, because there's been a lot of adults who didn't watch Winx Club. They didn't care for that show, so they're going into this basically fresh. So I'm going to also try to see from that point of view, like if I was going into this fresh without knowing and comparing it, what aspects are really going to be, not, still appealing. Even, because I'm not, when you're not an original fan, then you can really come in for a fresh, clear view. It's just a lot of us originals, like I've seen a lot of original fans really bashing, and it's like, you really need to give it its fair shot. I know they're watching it still, but they're just so stuck on comparison. which I'm gonna compare, but I'm also gonna keep an open mind to these changes and everything, and try to see it from both sides of being a new fan and an old fan. So, yeah. All right. Let's get into this. All right, guys. So, spoiler warning I already gave. This is going to be, I'm trying to adjust my camera on my centerness. Spoiler warning, lots of spoilers. This is me only the first episode. I have not watched any other episodes yet. I just watched the first one earlier today before I went to work. So, and I got through that. I have these things written down because otherwise you know I can go on forever. Let's start with differences in the main characters. Yes, a lot of people have said several very obvious differences. One being the place, for one thing. Althea is like a country or something, other world, and it's like, okay, so it's not separate from Earth. It's not separate from Earth. That was interesting. I'm like, all right, so they know they know Britain, obviously, because they're making jokes about America and stuff, and whatnot. So they know those references and stuff. So it's like, okay, so this is all on Earth apparently. And there's just barriers and stuff to keep it separate. All right. I don't know why they're all British. I guess they just figured that's an appeal right now. So I'm like, oh, okay, we'll roll with that. So, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal, really. I mean, honestly, it would make more sense if the characters had different accents when they first came into the show. So honestly, it's like, getting some new accents in there. That's kind of like, yeah, from different places. Everyone's from different areas. So it's like, okay, I get that. But apparently it's dominantly Britain. It's like, okay, all right, we'll do that. I don't have an issue with that. So, so that was a big difference. Althea is something well-known to people who are part of the magical universe, somewhere hidden on Earth, apparently. I'm assuming. The main characters, Bloom, growing up not aware of the magic realm because it's hidden, and it's like, okay, at least that's the consistency. The main characters, Stella, she's older than everyone, which is actually true. Original fans, remember, Stella was held back. We all seem to forget that. She is a year older than everyone else. Like, that is a legit thing. She is older. They made her very much older. Like, she seems like a senior to me. Like, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, like in a high school setting. She really seems like a senior, not a sophomore. So that, like, she seems really a lot older. Like, she seems a lot older, and I wasn't sure how I felt about that. Still not sure how I feel about that. But do remember she is a year older than everyone else. That actually was consistent. I don't know if they were trying to be consistent, but that surprisingly was accurate. She was held back a year because of an explosion or something she did in the first season, or before the first season. So that actually was accurate. She is a year older than the rest of the Winx girls because she was held back because of something she did. But then the rest of it's like, she didn't find Bloom. She didn't, she wasn't the reason Bloom was there. She's acting more like trying to be a mentor. I'm like, okay, gonna roll with it. Not sure how I feel about it, but we're gonna roll with it. I mean, it would make sense. At first, I thought she really was like it was normal for a non-first year to be with the first years, to be their mentor. I thought that was normal until they said, oh no, it's not. It's like, oh, yeah. So yeah. All right. She does change clothes and cares about her appearance and everything a lot. So, and the Solarian ring is still there. So like that was really cool. Or at least that was a good consistency, and they really did nice effects on that ring. I did enjoy those. They did make the ring look really cool and actually accurate. I was very impressed with the ring, at least. They didn't mention her being a princess, though. They didn't really mention Solaria, I don't believe. This is from 5 hours ago, so I mean, I could be wrong, but yeah, that was, didn't mention her being a princess. Aisha's not a princess either. Or at least they haven't mentioned princesses or kingdoms or any of that. I'm like, keeping royalty out. All right. Okay. Even they were talking about Sky, they didn't. Anyways, they mentioned Araculon. They just didn't say anything about, like, royalty necessarily. Or titles. So yeah, Stella, checkmark. We've gotten Stella checked off. Flora. Let's tackle Flora next. No Flora. It's Tara. She mentions a cousin, Flora. Why did they change it? I think they really wanted to rewrite Flora's character because honestly, and this is an honest opinion, I do love Flora. Of course, we all love Flora. That's mostly because she has like just 2 or 3 layers to her. She doesn't really have a lot of layers to her personality. So I'm actually saying, okay, I'm okay with this new redevelopment of the character because it's not her character. They're not giving her Flora's name because they're not trying to remake Flora. They're giving a new cousin of Flora, a new character that's more of their own in that regard. Tara. So I'm like, all right. I mean, I like Tara. I like her so far. Tara is me. I'm very talkative and I'm not shy, but I am very talkative. And awkward, and some people just want me to shut up sometimes. So I do feel her there. I do feel for Tara there. I'm like, I totally get you, man. I feel you. We would be friends in real life. Me and Tara would be friends. And I'm just basing this off of one episode, but I would be friends with Tara, honestly. She's the kind of person I'm drawn to. I don't know why. I have a lot of introvert friends. I don't know why. I'm an extrovert and I'm just attracted to introverts. I don't know why. They're all my best friends though. Everyone, all my closest friends are introverts and whatnot. And I'm the most talkative though. So yeah, me and Tara, I think we would get along. Anyways, I do like Tara. I do like Tara. I agree at the very least they made a point to make sure we knew it wasn't Flora. That it's a cousin and it's like just separating that. I do actually agree and like that they did that. Aisha, I'm like, all right. You know, this not saying she's a princess. They're keeping royalty out. I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess I don't really want to expand on that right now. But yeah, they're basically keeping her water powers. In the show, they made it pink, so I actually didn't realize it was really water powers in the show. It took me a while when I was younger to really get that. I'm like, but they're pink. Why is it pink? It's water. I just didn't understand. So I actually do like that they're straight up water powers. I do like that. Aisha, I really don't have any problems with. So, I mean, she's doing just fine. She swims twice a day, and I'm like, okay, cool. Water powers and whatnot, look, all right. Totally chill. Totally cool with that. Musa. Now, a lot of people will know she is the biggest issue. Now, Aisha didn't come till the second season, so they're taking a lot of liberties of her, but she has so many layers to her. Like, she has layers to her personality, and she's a really fun character to play with, in the regards of playing around with her personality traits and the different layers to her, and she's smart, and, like, she's creative, and, like, Aisha is a good character to have in there, so I do agree with that choice. Tekna's nowhere to be found. Yeah. I'm just like, okay. Why? But I'm thinking the reason Tekna's not here is because they're only sticking to certain types of realms and places, and they didn't really want to extend into technology because they're doing really modern. They're going really modern with the phones and everything and general day and stuff. And they probably didn't want to go into the high-tech stuff that Tekna would be into and things, and, like, the budget to make that kind of stuff for the show, futuristic things and whatnot, and making all of that up and budgeting, getting the props made and all of that. Like, it probably was too much, honestly. That's why I think that they don't have Tekna. Also, she was another... Tekna was a lot like Flora, just very single-layered. Not single-layered, but just 2 or 3 layers, but really not much more to her. You know, I mean, I get that. I kind of, I mean, yeah, it's sad to see her not there, but, like, I kind of get it. But instead, here comes into the next thing. Musa being the biggest thing. Wow, Musa. Biggest change. Musa is not, at least to me, she's not a music fairy. Very intriguing. Her headphones are to keep out the emotions of other people. She's an empath. And as a Miraculous Ladybug fan, I'm thinking Gabriel and Hawkmoth and Naru and Butterfly Miraculous and everything. I'm like, what? Like, that's the biggest empath I know. From my fandoms, at least. I mean, and there are probably others, but I'm not going to go into that or try to search my brain. Just current fandoms, at least right now, I'm thinking Gabriel. I'm like, okay. But she's a good one, at least. Anyways, not going to Miraculous Ladybug, promise. Musa is an empath, and they decided to make her reasoning for her headphones is so she can keep out everyone else's emotions, because she's, like, hearing them like thoughts, just emotions though. So, like, her headphones are to just focus on how she's feeling, and I actually think that is a very creative thing. I do enjoy that they did that. I mean, I don't enjoy that they took away the music thing of her being a fairy of music, but I do think that was a very creative way if they were gonna change her powers into an empath and an empathy, which is actually very intriguing. I'm kind of excited to see where they go with that, where they go with Musa's new powers. I am kind of really interested to see where they go with this. But, like, her headphones and the way they used them and music and how they used it to help her with her powers, I really do think that was very clever. That was very smart. And since I do say I agree with that choice, not taking away and changing her character. I mean, of course, I'm an original fan, but I do think since I did change it, I do enjoy the way they changed it. I do enjoy what they chose to do with that change, and what they decide, how they decide to use it, but also still allure to her love of music. So they still have a nod to that and a reason for her headphones and things. So I'm like, all right, okay. So I'm really happy about that. One thing I didn't like that they changed, it wasn't I didn't like it. I did notice about, and it's still about Musa, she's not, I mean, orientation-wise, we were led to believe, because of her mother's passing and showings of her mother was always in a Chinese ensemble. So in her looks and things, really, she always looked to be more Chinese. So they changed that, and I'm like, I'm not sure how I feel about that, because I did like her being Asian, but I'm not complaining about it. I'm not saying it's not okay, and it's fine. I mean, I'm not, it's not like it's taking away from her character any. I don't believe it takes away from her character, but it is something I noticed. Because I was always led to believe that she was Asian. And I mean, they changed it, and that's okay. It was just something I was like, why though? Why did you change that? That didn't make sense to me. But it is what it is, I'm not complaining about it or anything. I was just curious. I'm like, interesting. Moving on, that's the main characters, the main characters at least. We have a shady witch person. I watched this before I went to work and 5 hours ago, so I don't remember what her name was. But it wasn't something that we knew from the show, so it's a new character, a new person. I'm gonna assume from the last scene we got of her tormenting a burned one that she's Stormy, or maybe a combination of Icy, Stormy, and Darcy, or just a new character, original character altogether. I don't know. I'm assuming, though, the one main thing is I'm assuming she's a witch. So I'm just going to go out and say I think she's a witch in disguise as a fairy in Althea. So, suspicious character. There we go. So we'll see. She's the big bad, I'm assuming. Or at least not the big bad, but at least a bad that's in disguise and all that. So, infiltrator. Also, the fairy wings. Did they just get lazy? Why can I not transform with fairy wings? Like, I think from some of the promos, I saw them later on. I think. Not sure. But no fairy wings. I'm like, this is Winx Club. You can't not have fairy wings. They're fairies. So we will see about that. That did bother me significantly though. So I think they're gonna bring them in. I really hope they do. I feel like they will. From promos, I think that I saw. I might have dreamed that. I don't know. Or they might have been edits from fans. I have no idea. But I hope they do. Farragonda. Oh. Shady Farragonda. If you have watched Winx Club Abridged, it's something they've done so right. The fact is, the whole first season, or most of it in the series even, Farragonda is so shady. She really is. She's just so shady. She's keeping so many secrets from Bloom about who she is and her suspicions, and it's just like they nailed it on the head. Shady Farragonda. Not saying I want a bad or evil Farragonda who doesn't actually want to help. I'm not saying I want that. But the thing is, she is shady though. It's Farragonda. She's shady. She is. This is the first season especially. Just the first season altogether. She's just shady. She has secrets. I'm not saying she's bad, or that she's ever been bad, or that I don't hope she's bad. I'm just saying they really nailed that on the head, because she is a very secretive person. Lots of shade on her. You're just like, why is she hiding this and stuff? Like, and she has her reasons, It's not means for bad reasons. She just doesn't want, you know how kids are, and then you hear they're like, what, all this and stuff. Bloom's having a hard enough time. So yes, I do say Farragonda and hiding things and stuff and talking with other staff members and whatnot. It's like, all right, I got you. All right. Also specialist staff members and things. The specialists are in the same school, basically. I mean, yeah, that makes sense, honestly. If they got rid of Cloud Tower, they might as well get rid of Red Fountain, and it makes sense for it to all be at Althea, because really that was where we were most of the time anyways, so I'm like, alright. Anyways, they got a Faragon on the head. Wrap that up. We're moving on. Alright, speaking of specialists, we are going to talk about Sky. Yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about this boy. First impression before he started talking. Remember this. First impression before he started talking was, this boy's hot. Okay? So, they kept partial of the long hair and whatnot, but like, they styled it so perfectly. So, I do think he's hot, and I'm like, alright, awesome. I was totally on board. He starts talking. I'm not sure how I feel about him. He's kind of very snarky. And, I mean, our Sky was very one-dimensional in regards to he was a prince and very polite and very, down to earth and things. So it's like, alright, they kind of put him more like, but they got rid of the prince status though, or at least as far as I know. So it's like, well, does he really have a right to be that snarky? Also, is he a second year? Because of the Stella thing with him, which is, I'll get to that in a second, but is he a first year? I'm not sure. Yeah. But he definitely, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if I like his personality, but then again, it's like, you get to learn and develop and learn and see these characters grow and change. So, that's all I'm gonna say about Sky. Like, alright. Now, Brandon. Where is Brandon? I was wondering if they were going to do the Sky Brandon name swap, identity swap, but they didn't mess with any of that. I'm like, okay. But is Brandon this kid that's friends with Sky that gets high? Is he that kid? Is that supposed to be Brandon? I'm not someone who approves of that kind of stuff, like getting high and things, so I'm really not liking him just because it's, it's just not someone I hang out with or would hang out with or anything. This is my personal preference. Not saying it's bad or wrong, all that, but it's just not the kind of person I hang out with. So I'm don't really know what to think about him. I'm not gonna say any more because I'm not sure who this kid is. They probably said his name. I don't remember. I don't think it was Brandon though. So, like, I don't think they said that was his name. I don't know. So if that is Brandon, I'm like, wow, major rewrite. And if it isn't, then it's like, all right, original character who's good friends with Sky. How close is he with Sky? I'm not sure. Yeah. And then he was bullying that other kid who was, a new kid, a new specialist, who became friends with Flora. Not Flora! Dang it. Not Flora. Tara. Okay. I'm sorry, that was an honest to goodness slip up. I'm so sorry. That was an honest to goodness slip up. Alright. Tara. He, has a new guy friend, and they're becoming cute little first years. I'm like, aw, that's gonna be so adorable. I'm so excited to see these two develop together. I ship them already. I jumped on that ship. I know it's not Flora, and I don't think his name is Helia. I'm pretty sure it's not, but I don't even think I know that kid's name yet. But these two, this little first year who is getting picked on by the guy who's friends of Sky, and then not Flora, but Tara, those two, this first year and Tara, they're both first years, but you know, these two kids, I'm like, okay, I'll jump on this ship. You're just so cute. You're so cute. Oh, so I definitely jumped onto that 100% on that ship. I just really, I'm excited to see that ship develop. I really am. That is one I'm very excited about to see. Of course, last but not least, we're gonna get full circle back to Bloom. Bloom, our main character that I have avoided purposely, because there's so much that they have changed, and I wanted to get to it last because of that. Because she's the main character. I do like that they are making it a point that she is the main character. She's always been the main character, and when she wasn't, is really honestly when the show really kind of went downhill. After like season 4 and on, I just don't. They were just doing it for the toys at that point. I mean, season 4 was okay, but then like even at that point, I was kind of really like, eh. They took the focus off Bloom. I mean, I liked her being a mentor to Roxy. I did like that. I was kind of hoping she would connect with Roxy a little bit more in season 4 and things, and like saying I went through the same things being from Earth and stuff. I really wish they would have connected more, and that she would share her experiences and things, and how they've helped her grow and stuff like more with Roxy, because yeah, anyways, not getting into that. So back to this, Bloom. In Fated, there are these things called burned ones. And the whole thing starts out as a proper horror show. And I had to turn away. I'm like, I don't do horror. I will watch this because as long as I'm aware there's gonna be there and I can be prepared, you know, I can stomach it. I try to. I'm just like, look away for a second, you know, just not. But I can, you know, as long as it's not like it's a horror show, like that's the whole point of it, then it's like, okay, I can tolerate it to that degree where it's not the focus, at least, like it's not the whole point of a movie or